On the left side, please. All together, on the left side. On the left side, please. A little bit right. Bruno, on the left side. Bruno, on the left side, please. On the left side, left side. Bruno, einmal nach vorne schauen. Bruno, einmal links in der zweiten Reihe. Einmal links in der zweiten Reihe. Ganz. Bruno! Bruno rechts! Der Ganz! Bruno versucht zu kritisieren! Der Ganz! Hey! Christiane! Wir gehen hier mit dem Blick hier rüber. Nochmal hier schauen. Und jetzt links! Christiane, mal hier mit in die Mitte! Christiane, die Augen rechts! Wir haben es nicht links! Entschuldigung! Wir haben es nicht links! On the left side, please. Left. On the left side.
Willem, this way, please, down first.
Willem, over here! Thank you. No. Thank you.
Ist eingeschaltet, Deutsch. Ich bin Fremdsprache. So, meine Kollegen, ich bitte Sie doch mit dem Bild aufzuhören. Wir wollen jetzt mit der Pressekonferenz
stop photographing. We're beginning with the press conference now for the film
The Dust of Time.
Η σκόνη του χρόνου, The Dust of Time. I'd like to welcome everyone on the panel.
Ganz rechts außen von mir sitzt
To my right,
Petros
we have Petros Markaris.
Der hat am Drehbuch mitgearbeitet. Sie kennen ihn
He worked on the
wahrscheinlich auch
screenplay, and you
als
probably also know
Autor
him
der
as an
Athen-Krimis,
author of
Kommissar
the
und Kommissar
Athenian
Neben
detective
ihm sitzt,
stories
auch eine
with
wichtige
police
Person.
officer
Sie
Karitos.
kennen sie als
Next
die
to him,
musikalische
a
Seele der
very
Filme von
important
T.Angelopoulos,
person, the
Eleni
musical
Karaindrou.
soul of Mr. Angelopoulos, Eleni Karaindrou.
Daneben der
Then
Kameramann
we have
für das Bild
the
verantwortlich,
director of
Andreas
photography,
Sinanos.
Andreas Sinanos.
Jetzt kommen die Schauspieler.
Now the actors.
Christiane Paul,
Christiane
kennen Sie sicher sehr
Paul,
gut.
you probably know her very well.
Christiane Paul.
Christiane Paul. Hello.
Und neben ihr
And
Willem
next to
Dafoe.
her, Willem Dafoe.
Direkt neben mir, dazu muss ich gar nichts
Directly
sagen,
next to me,
Bruno
I
Ganz.
don't need to say anything, Bruno Ganz.
Und ebenso wenig sicher zu Irene Jacob.
And then Irene Jacob.
Inmitten seiner Schauspieler der große europäische Filmregisseur,
With his
Master of
actors
Cinema,
here in the
Theo
middle, we
Angelopoulos.
have the great master of cinema, Theo Angelopoulos.
So, Sie wissen das Prozedere.
You know the
Handheben,
procedure.
jeder kann in seiner
Raise your
Sprache
hand.
Fragen stellen.
Everyone can ask
Wir
questions
oben
in his
können
own
das-
language, and we will be
können uns
able
die
to
Übersetzung
listen
anhören. Also
to the
bitte
translation. So please, your
Aufzeigen.
questions.
Nö, ist eingestellt. Nur eine, eins. Keine Frage?
No questions?
Da vorne ist eine.
Here at the front.
My name is Mehari, and I will ask a question to Mr. Bruno Ganz. What similarity and affinity did you find in making this film with Angels Over Berlin?
I didn't understand right.
Sorry,
Could you,
ich habe das akustisch nicht verstanden.
what was?
The similarity and affinity with this film and the film he made a long time ago, Angels Over Berlin.
With Theo Angelopoulos, the other film he did. Himmel über Berlin. Ähnlichkeit mit Himmel über
Nein,
Berlin.
das eine ist ein Film von Wenders, das andere ein Film von Angelopoulos.
No, one is a Wenders film and one is an Angelopoulos film. They're two completely different things.
Gut. Da ist eine Frage aus der rechten Seite.
To the right.
Yeah. Hello, Nils from Norway. Yes, I have a question for Angelopoulos. You compare filmmaking or shooting to the same language as you find in books. I don't know if, yeah, you know what I mean? You, like, I have read, or you actually said that shooting film is comparable to writing sentences. So I wonder, what kind of language did you apply in this movie?
Καταρχήν, όταν γράφει κανείς ένα σενάριο,
When somebody writes a screen script, he writes it in one language.
όταν βρίσκεται στο χώρο του γυρίσματος,
And when he's
οι
then
γλώσσες
shooting,
πολλαπλασιάζονται.
the languages become more than one.
Όμως δεν είναι το ίδιο πράγμα το να
But it's
γράψεις
not
ένα
the same
σενάριο
thing
όπως
to
το
write
να
a
γράψεις μια
screenplay
ταινία.
as to write a film.
Wenn Sie das jetzt nicht verstehen, müssen Sie sich Kopfhörer holen und Kanal 1 einschalten.
If you don't understand this, you'll need headsets and switch on channel 1 for German.
Ich weiß nicht, ob die Antwort schon zu Ende war.
I don't know whether this was the end of the answer. Please. I was asked which kind of language I use. I use cinematographic language.
Je ne sais pas qu'est-ce qu'elle vise, votre question.
I don't know exactly what you meant by your question.
Où est exactement la question?
What's your question exactly?
It's a lot of confusion here now. Well, I don't understand French, but okay, I got it. You didn't understand the question, so anyway, I try to make it simple because it's a little bit abstract maybe. How would you compare the language in film with the written language in books? How would you compare the two of those?
Δεν είναι το ίδιο πράγμα καθόλου.
It's not the same thing, not at all.
Φυσικά είναι μια άλλη γλώσσα.
Of course, it's a different kind of language.
Θα έλεγα ότι
I'd say that as much as you try in a screenplay to visualize things, to shape pictures, to write pictures, the picture in the end, the whole film, the picture of the film will be completely different from whatever is written, again as an imagery in the written words of the script.
Gut, nächste Frage.
Next question.
Sie müssen. Ja, ich habe das nicht gesehen. Moment, Sie muss
I
auf das
hadn't
Mikrofon
seen this
warten.
young lady.
Kommt.
Wait for the mic.
I'm sorry. I have a question for Mr. Dafoe. In your character, I perceived a great sadness. Was there something that was conveyed to him by the heavy heritage of his parents that was just an emotion that was permanent in the family when he grew up? Or was it based, in your interpretation, on something the character experienced?
I heard your question. When I approach this, I don't think in terms of emotion necessarily, or in terms of character, really. I think of myself helping to tell a story and inhabiting a series of shots. So if he has, to you perceive that he has a particular emotion, I don't know exactly what to say about that, because I don't have a particular intention to convey an emotion. I just want to help tell the story.
Gut, nächste Frage von dem Herrn dort.
Next question.
Vasili Vegas vom WDR. Ich wollte eine Frage an Herrn Angelopoulos
Vasili
stellen.
Vegas from the GDR.
Und
I'd like to
zwar,
ask Mr. Angelopoulos something.
Ist in dem Film
In the film,
die Distanz zwischen
we
zwei
have the
Menschen
distance
oder zwischen
between
Familien irgendwie
two
sichtbar,
people
sowohl
or two
metaphorisch
families,
als auch
and
jetzt
it becomes
im
visible
reellen
at a
Sinne.
metaphorical level as
Deswegen
much
wollte
as
ich
at a
fragen,
realistic level.
inspiriert durch
That's why I'd
diese
like to
letzte Szene
ask
oder
now,
eine der
inspired by the
letzten
last
Szenen
scene or one of the
zwischen
last
Willem
scenes
Dafoe und
between
Christiane
Willem
Paul,
Dafoe
also
and Christiane Paul,
von den beiden, als die
acted by these
getrennt
parts
von der
when
Straße
they
sich
then have the
sozusagen
street
verabschieden
in
zum
between
letzten
them,
Mal.
and that's how they say goodbye
Ob
to
Herr
each other
Angelopoulos sieht,
the
dass
last
es sich
time.
verbessert
Does
hat,
Mr.
also dass
Angelopoulos see
die
that
Entfernung zwischen den
the
Menschen kleiner geworden
distance
ist, oder ob man
has become
trotz
smaller between these two people,
der Mauer, die es nicht mehr
although
gibt, immer
there's
noch sehr viele
still,
Mauern
or do you think that
emotional
although
einfach in den
there's the
Köpfen
wall which has
bestehen
fallen, but we still have the
geblieben sind?
wall
Also
in
ist
our
es besser
heads, in our
geworden an
minds?
sich,
Do you think
oder sehen Sie da
it's
in der
become better, the
Zeitentwicklung
situation, or
eine
do you
schlechtere
think that it's actually got worse?
Αν μιλάτε για την σχέση ανάμεσα στον
if you mean the relationship
Willem Dafoe,
between Willem
το
Dafoe,
ρόλο
his
και
role,
τον ρόλο της Christiane
and the
Paul,
role of Christiane Paul,
είναι δύο άνθρωποι που
these are two people
παρόλο
who,
που αγαπιόνται,
although they love each
αγαπήθηκαν
other,
και αγαπιόνται
or they
ακόμα,
used to love each other and they still love each other,
να συνυπάρξουν
they
μαζί.
could not exist together.
Το καλύτερο είναι να
The best thing is for them to keep away from each other, but of course that hurts.
Αυτό είναι η σκηνή του αποχαιρετισμού.
That's the scene,
Συγκίνηση και από τις δύο μεριές.
the goodbye scene. Both are moved, but they have to say goodbye.
Okay, die nächste Frage von
Next
Ihnen.
question here.
Christiane?
A question to Christiane.
Kosovo-Frage, ja? Ich komme aus Kosovo.
I'm from Kosovo.
Was sagen Sie denn über den Film, was Sie gemacht haben?
What do you say about the film you
Wird er in
made?
Berlin ein Schlagerstar?
Will it work in Berlin? I think I haven't quite understood the question. You wanted to ask whether the film is going to have success in Berlin? How did you think of this question? I don't know. If I knew, I'd probably be a millionaire because nobody knows us in this business. But I think that this film tells a story which has a lot to do with us, although it is not set in the present times. It tells a lot about families, about being away from home, about work, about the media and what the media do with us. I do think that it reflects very well the situation in which we are presently in our society, and I do think we'll move those people who are interested in this.
Die nächste Frage.
Next question, please. Italy. I'll ask my question in French from Mr. Angelopoulos. We had the first pictures of the studio of Cinecittà, and I'd like to know how you developed your cooperation with Italy and with Amedeo Pagani, who I think co-produced the film. And this Studio 5 of Cinecittà is also, of course, a reference to Fellini. Yes. I think that I worked with Cinecittà as I worked, as if I were at home. There was friendship and cooperation. It wasn't the first time that I was in Italy and that I've worked with Cinecittà. And overmore, there's all the significance of Cinecittà for the whole world. Cinecittà is a town of cinema, and it was for many, many years. So to work there is as if I was doing an homage to Cinecittà and to Studio 5 and Federico Fellini. You see?
Die nächste Frage kommt von
Next
rechts,
question.
von mir aus rechts.
Yes,
To my
hello.
right.
On your right, στα δεξιά σας. Yannis Boulakis from Athens, Greece, το βήμα. I would like to ask Mr. Angelopoulos, having seen the film 3 times, I noticed that the protagonist of the film is a film director. And since Voyage to Kythera, most of your protagonists are film directors. Is there any special reason for that?
It's not always directors, the protagonists. There are 3 films where I have protagonists, but they're very different, these films, one from the other. We had Voyage to Kythera, that was the first one. And that was our story there. These directors, this director has not yet made the film. He starts and he does parts of the film, and then he comes back and goes to the studio to carry on. In the meantime, he sees the things he has already shot, and the rest of the film is in the imagination, with continuous reconstitutions in the imaginary, completely in the imaginary, and that's why you cannot judge this film or see it as a film which has reality in it, because there is none.
une réalité imaginaire.
It's only an imaginary reality.
C'est pour ça que plusieurs personnes
And that's why
ils pensent
certain people think that they've seen something, then they sort of make up a scene of the past by using the present. So the past and even the future become the present.
Je ne veux pas que c'est la définition qui donne Heidegger.
I don't think maybe that's Heidegger's definition, but it is Eliot's definition.
Gut, ich hatte hier vorne eine Frage
I had a
gesehen,
question
die
at the
wäre
front
dann zuerst
here.
dran, und dann Sie.
And then you later.
Malik Berkati, Suisse. Une
I'm
question
from
à Irene
Switzerland.
Jacob. Est-ce que c'était
To
difficile de jouer un
E.Karaindrou.
personnage sur plusieurs périodes
Was it
de sa vie,
difficult
et aussi,
to act as a
quand vous donnez la
woman
réplique
in
dans une
different
période et que
ages?
quelqu'un est dans une autre période?
And was it difficult to change from one period to another?
Merci.
Thank you.
En fait, c'est vraiment une des choses que j'ai adoré dans le film.
I loved that in the film.
J'avoue que de traverser
I
le temps
admit
comme ça, non
that
seulement d'une façon
traveling
continue,
time
mais
like
aussi,
that, not just
d'une
continuously,
façon,
but also
parfois
traveling
contraire, où justement je me retrouve,
arbitrarily between the times, once with Bruno in the present, and then suddenly you move back to the past, and then you have Willem-Dafoe, and we're in two different times, and I'm his mother, and he's 20 years old. And then with Michel Piccoli, we had a scene like this where I really liked the fact that there's no realistic approach to this from Theo's side. On time. It means that you can just pass to the present or back to the past and back to the present again without limits, really. You know, just narrate the story. And it was one of the great joys of this film that you could pass from one time period to another. And this is the idea of narrating a story, not just, let's say, a big thing there, but the thing is that you're actually telling the story on the basis of relationships. And I think that was really a great pleasure for me to be 20. To be 80 years old or to be young or whatever, you know. I really like that.
Un grand plaisir. D'autant que la période la plus heureuse pour ces personnages se retrouve finalement à être quand ils ont 80 ans.
She's most happy when she's 80 years old, and I think that's really a great thing.
Enfin, pour le mien en tout cas.
Anyway, that's what I think.
Gut, die nächste Frage kommt
Next
von mir aus
question.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Angelopoulos. Je suis là à votre
Good
droite.
evening, Mr. Angelopoulos. I'm to your right.
À votre droite.
To your right.
Bonsoir. Est-ce que vous
Good
pourriez nous
evening.
raconter pourquoi vous
Could
avez
you
choisi
tell us
Monsieur Willem Dafoe pour
why
jouer
you
le
chose Willem
personnage
Dafoe
du réalisateur?
as a director in this film, for this role?
Je l'ai
I
rencontré
met
Willem Dafoe dans un
him
festival.
at a festival,
On prenait tous les deux un prix.
and we both
Moi pour une autre chose et lui pour une autre chose.
were there for two different reasons.
Il m'a regardé, je l'ai regardé.
I looked at him, he looked at me,
Il avait un sourire,
and he had a
Timide.
smile, a timid smile,
comme maintenant.
like now.
J'ai dit oui.
And I
peut-être.
said, yes, maybe.
À l'époque, j'avais écrit
At the time, I
une
had
première version
written
du
a first
scénario.
version of the scenario.
Et c'était aussi simple que ça.
And it was as simple as
On a
that.
parlé,
We talked,
on a fait une communication.
we had communicated, and that was it.
Vous savez que le choix d'un acteur,
You know that
c'est pas
the
quelque
choices of
chose
an actor is not just,
je ne sais pas.
I don't
En
know.
tout cas pour moi, c'est
Anyway,
pas une
for me, it's
une
not a
histoire
question or a
qui traverse beaucoup
story
d'étapes.
which will go along all sorts
C'est
of
comme
steps and
si
stages.
on
It's as
on
if
rencontre
you
quelqu'un
meet
avec lequel
someone
on se sent à l'aise,
and you
on se
just
sent une possibilité de
feel
faire une amitié,
familiar with this person, and you have the feeling that you can have a friendship with this
et
person,
ça va.
and it just works out.
Il y a d'autres fois que le choix d'un acteur se fait de façon
Sometimes the
différente.
choice of an actor is made differently.
Au moment où j'écrivais le scénario,
when I was writing the screenplay for
tout de suite, j'avais en tête
Jacob, I
Bruno
immediately thought of Bruno Ganz for
Bruno
this
Ganz.
role. And because, of course, I knew him, I'd made another film with him.
Pour Irene, c'est tout à fait autre chose.
With Irene, it was completely different.
Il fallait qu'elle soit une femme
It
grecque.
had to be a Greek woman.
Donc, avec quelque chose qui rappelle
So she had to have something which
dans
reminded
l'imaginaire
you,
des
at
gens,
least in the
d'une femme
imaginary,
grecque. Et je pense
of
qu'elle-
a Greek woman. And I think she has that.
une femme méridionale, disons.
Mediterranean
Donc,
woman, anyway.
En plus, je me rappelais d'elle
And I also remembered her
des films qu'elle a fait avec Christophe Kieslowski.
from the films she'd made with Krzysztof Kieslowski.
Gut, die nächste Frage, wir machen mal die Seiten. Die
Next
rechte
question,
Seite,
maybe
kommt jetzt mal eine
we'd
von
take
hier.
somebody from the other side here. Please take the mic.
Ja, guten Abend, Maciej Berlin
Good
vom
evening,
polnischen
Maciej
Radio.
Berlin from the Polish radio.
Die Frage an Herrn Angelopoulos
A question
geht,
to
werde ich sie
Mr.
auch auf Deutsch
Angelopoulos,
stellen.
and that's
kann
why
leider
I'm going
kein
to ask in
Französisch.
German. I'm afraid I don't know any French.
Und zwar, die Frage richtet sich danach, wir haben ja
The
jetzt den
question
zweiten
is,
Teil
we
Ihrer
have this
Trilogie
second part
hier
of
in
your
Berlin
trilogy here in
gesehen.
Berlin.
Der
We've
erste
seen it.
Teil
The
war
first
eine
part
Geschichte
was a
aus der
story
Vergangenheit.
from the past,
Spannte einen Zeitraum,
and
der
it
dann
was a
irgendwann mit der
time
Emigration
span
der,
which began with the
von Spiros geendet hat.
immigration, which ended with the
In diesem
immigration of
zweiten Teil
Spiros
nun
there.
widmen
And now in
Sie
this
sich der Zeit
second
danach
part,
bis
you
in
have
die
the
Gegenwart.
period following up
Was
right
können
up
wir
to the
dann
present
erwarten vom
times.
dritten Teil?
So
Ist
what
das
can
ein
we
Blick in
expect
die
from the
Zukunft?
third time? You
Können
know,
Sie das
what's
schon
the future
verraten?
going to be like?
Und
Can
eine
you tell
kurze
us that?
Frage noch an,
And a
die
brief
Komponistin,
question to the
Eleni
composer,
Da würde
Eleni
mich sehr
Karaindrou.
interessieren,
I'd
welche
like to know
Herangehensweise Sie haben, wenn Sie
by
einen
which way you
Film
approach
vertonen,
a film when you
Bilder zuerst da
compose a
oder
film. Do you
schreiben Sie
have the
zuerst,
pictures
setzen Sie
first
da
of the
mehr
films,
nach
or
dem
do you
Drehbuch
first write the
oder nach dem,
music
was Sie schon visuell
by having read the
erleben, sehen
screenplay or something? Or do you wait for the images?
Eleni.
Ο τρόπος που προσεγγίζω
The manner with which I approach the story of Theo's is
όταν συζητάμε
when we talk at the beginning about his ideas before even the screenplay has been written. That's when I'm inspired
για να γράψω μουσική, την
to
οποία
write
αρκετές
music.
φορές
And
τα θέματα
then
μου
very
τα βρίσκω
often
πριν,
these themes, you know, I find them beforehand, before the film is shot, because I believe that I really get deep inspiration by his visions and his ideas. And that's what touches me and gives me the inner strength so as to be able to express with music what I feel when I hear about the film. That's it.
Εγώ να πω την πρώτη μου συνάντηση με την Ελένη.
I should say that my first meeting with Eleni
ήταν στο ταξίδι στα Κύθυρα.
With the voyage to Kythira.
Ήρθε η Ελένη στο σπίτι να
Eleni
μιλήσουμε.
came home so that we could speak. I'm sorry, maybe I should be speaking in French. She came home to discuss about the cooperation we could have.
Elle se commençait à lui raconter le scénario. Elle n'a pas voulu lire l'histoire.
She wanted to hear the the story. She didn't want to read the script. She asked me to narrate the story to her.
Elle a enregistré ma voix pendant que je racontais.
Whilst I was talking and about the film, she listened, and afterward she went home. I think that she then used what I had told her to begin to write the sound So she starts with kind of a cry to then arrive in the end at a sound, and that was maybe the first time. Then afterwards it was very different. But you also asked another question, which you asked me, and I've completely forgotten it. Oh, the third wing. Third part, that's going to be... the title is going to be Tomorrow, the third part of the trilogy here. And that will be either a very close or very far away future.
Gut, eine weitere Frage. Eine Dame hatte sich gemeldet.
Another question, a lady down here.
Ich habe eine Frage.
I have a question to Christiane Paul.
In
the last scene, in the goodbye farewell scene, you were wearing just very light clothes, and it was in winter. It was cold, it was dark, and you were wearing summer clothes, a summer jacket, or maybe kind of, just summer shoes and stockings and that. And I mean, it was also in a way, I suppose, not very happy scene. A sad scene, I suppose, since it's a farewell scene. So what's the question? The question is, well, I thought that maybe, I was wondering whether you got caught a cold when you shot the scene. This beautiful dress you were wearing, does it have any significance?
Gut, jetzt haben wir die Frage verstanden.
Okay, we understood the question. Good that you understood it. I'm not wearing a beautiful dress. I have a kind of business dress, which I'm wearing all the time in the film, also in the scenes with Willem. And as far as I can tell, I think that Theo meant this costume to be a bit neutiral. You can't really locate it. It's completely independent of fashion and also of the time of the year. Because Willem Dafoe is a time traveler moving between different periods of time. And I also am at a place I wasn't beforehand. So we are now free from space and time. And I think that's what the dress also means. You don't really think about it, you know. And I'm astonished that you should be saying this, because it's true, it was cold when we were shooting this film. But I don't think you can see whether it was winter or spring or summer. I think it's completely independent of the seasons. That's how I felt it to be. Like, it didn't have a special significance, and it didn't mean anything regarding the relationship between Willem and Helga, my character. It was supposed to be timeless. Any other questions?
Ninos Mikelidis here. I would like to ask Theo to comment on the visual style of the film, because there are various decades, and each decade has its own style. I was wondering, because the protagonist is a film director, and there are many references to films to cinema in general in your film, whether to create this atmosphere you drew from various films of the period or from some other sources. Could you comment on this, please? Thank you.
Consciemment, no.
Not consciously.
Mais mon passé de cinéphile,
but my past as a lover of the cinema and somebody who used to go to the French Cinémathèque and to see all sorts of films, many of them.
Si je revenais sur une période qui pour moi était
if I went back to a period which I particularly liked, a period of the cinema,
c'est la période
then
juste avant la
Deuxième Guerre mondiale. Just before the Second World War.
Un peu après.
And a little bit afterwards.
Orson Welles,
Dreyer,
Murnau. Peut-être.
Maybe.
C'est là.
Maybe it's there. Maybe.
So, wenn jetzt nicht noch eine drängende
Now,
Frage
if we
ist, dann
don't have an
würde ich
urgent
mal sagen,
question,
unsere
let's
magische
say
halbe Stunde mit
that
Theo
our half hour is
Angelopoulos und
over with the magical half
Darstellern
hour
und
with Mr.
Mitarbeitern ist
Angelopoulos and his
vielen
actors
Dank,
and his
bei allen hier oben. Thank you very much for the
workers cooperating with him. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your questions. Und dass es nicht immer echt war, die Kälte und so. Ja, keine Ahnung. Also, ich wollte ihr schon das Wort wegnehmen, aber. Thank you.
Not very interesting. Sauf que rien de raconter que je portais des pantalons.
Ah, okay.